All right, so this is a lesson on Good Times, Bad Times, the first song from the first Led Zeppelin album. So here we go. The first riff is going to be a E5 power chord. So that's 7 on the A string, 9 and 9 underneath it. Since it's an E, you can use the big E string with it. You could even use the 2 open strings underneath. You can hit all those strings if you want, keeping those 2 high over here. But really, you just need those top 4. So there's a series of drum fills that go around that riff right there. Goes like 4 times, and then you're going to hit it again, and you're going to go into a new riff. Okay, so that goes down to the D5 power chord. So we go down the strings. Then we're going to switch to this triad shape, where we're going to have 5, 4, and 7. So 5 on the A string, 4 and 7 on the D. So, and then we're going 4, 5, 6 on the A string, back to the E power chord. So that happens a bunch of times. So after you've done that like 4 times, you're going to come up here to this A power chord. That's going to go down to a G and then a D. So the A one is on the 12th fret of the A string and the 14's below it. And then 10th fret to the big E string, 10th fret up here. That's a D power chord. So this is the A power chord, then G, D. Then we're going to go up a step. We're going to go here to the 14th fret. So that B one ends up just sticking on that B that second time. B. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got so far. We got the E power chord, series of those, and then we're going to have that riff where we can go down to the D with it. 3, 4, 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. Okay, now we got a new part. We got this F sharp power chord. 2, 4, 4 and the biggest 3 strings. So we hit that twice. Then we're gonna hit these little strings. 2s, pull off, hammer on, and then we got these 4s here. You could use these 2 fingers here. You could use this 1 finger here. You could get all 3 strings on these 4s, like a B chord to an A and back. So we got. Okay, so we got the big chord, then we got this. You can hit that last one too. And you got the 4s in the middle strings to the 2s in the middle strings. You could extend it to like D, G, and B. Okay, then we're going to go up to this, a similar thing to this chord thing we did before. We're going to start up here on the 14th though. And then we go 2 from there. And then we're going to hit that one more time. And then the solo starts. So let's take a look at this new thing again. We're going to start up on the 14th fret with these chords. So that's the 16th fret. That's a C sharp chord on the 16 on the A string, 18, 18, 18. And you can extend that down to a major chord instead of just a power chord on these. So we got 3, 4 from the 14th fret, 3, 4. Two, 3, and so it hits that last one. Then we're going to have this 14th fret of the G string. So typical kind of a rock and roll thing. We got the bend on the 14. We got the 12s. Do that a couple times and then start going. Kind of do a chord thing on that. So we got. So that little riff. Okay, so we got. So we got that bend on that G string, pinky on the 15th underneath it, pull it off to the 12, and then a pull off to the open from that 14-12. So this is kind of a big bend on this 20th fret of the B string. So kind of, so see that 15 to 17 and back, bending that 20 again. The last riff, da do da dee da do da. So one more time. And then we got this triplet thing. So that's an exercise I have people practice a lot of times, you know. 1 and a 2 and a triplets like that. So here is an example of a great solo that uses one of those exercises. It's a real speed builder, you know. So we got the 14, 12, 14, and then 12, 14, 12. Moving up just like that. And you can just let them hammer on each time. So you can do it faster because you have less picking. And then here it goes to the 15. So we're going to bend that 15 on the small string up. So we're bending that 17 up in there too. So we got. See there, he gets into the, instead of the pentatonic where you got that 15th fret with the 17, he gets into that 16, so he gets that major third note going in there. And then back to the minor. Big bend there on that 17. So one more time from here. Triplets. And see we get that 12, 15, 12, 17. So see where that half step came in? And then we're back to these chords on the 12th fret. And then up to. And then we have a solo going out where he kind of rips more E minor pentatonic bluesy stuff. Stuff like that. So he's got a big bendy thing on that 15th fret, and then comes up here for a big 1.5 step bend. So we got a big one on this 19th fret. And then you can get to this 19th fret of the second string. Back to that E note there. And then he's got stuff like. All right, Good Times, Bad Times, Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page. All right, I had a request for Heartbreaker by Led Zeppelin, so here we go. Okay, so let's get into that first riff. So we're going to have a slight bend on this G, the 3rd fret of the E string. We're going A, the open A, to the 3, and then on the D string, O, 1, 2, and then 3 on the big one. So we got. And then we're gonna go A, C. Same riff there. So we end up doing that riff 3 times. Then we're gonna go up to B here and do the same riff. We're gonna do that twice. We got 2, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 on the big one. 2, 2, 2, 2, 5. And then we're going back to A. A chord, and then the bass does some stuff. The bass really carries this whole verse part. We just kind of do an A and hold it, and then we're gonna do this D/A, which is like 4, 2, and 3. 4 in the D string, and then 2 and 3 down here with the A bass. So we're gonna go back and forth with that D with the A bass, back to A and hold the A. And the bass does all the rest of the stuff in here. We'd come back and do it again. And then we do it again. And then the 4th time, we're gonna go. Little pause, and then we're gonna go. So we do 3 times back and forth of that. D with the A bass to D. And then we're back in the riff. This time we'll do it twice. Up to the B. Back to the A. Next verse, same type of thing. We got that A chord, we wait for a while, and we got. So we do that a few times. Say we'll do the 3rd one. And then the 4th one, you can have. And now we're going to move to this C riff here. So it's going to be the same type of thing. 3 and 6, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we'll do that twice. Now we're going to go up to D and do the D one once. 2, 5, and 8. And then we're going to go up to the E. So those are the same type of riffs, but you got 5 and 8 on that A string for the D one. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 5, 5, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you got 7, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, 7, 7, 7, 10. Okay, now we're going to have a little riff. So we're going to get into that kind of a thing. So we have these 2 little middle string, D and G strings on the 7s. So we're going to kind of go down to these 9s on the 5th and 4th string. And then that one comes into the same strings we were doing on the other one. So we got. And then we're going to get into this low E string with this E chord here. So we got 7, 9, 9, 9. We're going to have. And what it is, it's going to be like a total of like 10 beats, and then the 11th one you'll stop on. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then he starts the solo. I'm not going to do the solo. It's very fast and complicated and kind of loosey-goosey and hard to recreate. But he kind of starts with a riff. So I'll give you that. That's like 2 here. Double pull off, 5, 2, 0, 2, 0, 3. And then he starts doing. And then he goes down here and he presses on the G string and he gets that note when he hits this 5 right here sometimes. He'll do like a bendy thing that makes that shoot way up in the air, like a double step bend. So I'm not really going to get into all that. He has some other riffs like. That's about as far as we're going to go on that solo stuff. So we got some walk-up chords here after the solo gets going a little bit. He does a solo and it kind of stops, and then we have this riff here. Okay, so that's an A chord. And then we're going to use the A bass still, but we're going to do a 4 and a 3. And you can do the open ones too, so. So you could just do the 4-3, the 5-5, the 7-7, but if you get some of those open strings in there with it, you can get the open G and the open E to ring in there with you. It sounds cool. Okay, then we're gonna have a riff that comes in while the solo begins. There's another guitar underneath the solo. That happens for quite a while over that solo, behind the solo. So we got open on the A string, 3, 4, and then on the D string, we're gonna go pinky on this 5, ding, ding, and then kind of a quick hammer on, 2 to 4 to the 2. And then they got a heavier riff. So that's A to the G note down here. A, C, A, G, A, G, A, C, A, G. And then it ends up going. And it ends eventually on the A. And then they got some, we're going to have some singing, and then we're going to come in with one of those again for another verse thing. So we wait a long time. So we do that a few times. Now this time the fourth one is going to go a little pause and then it does that again. So that 3 in a row thing happens twice at the end here. So we're going to have that last one. Back to the riff. So that time we stop on the middle of the second riff on that G note. So once again we got a full one. Then we got half a one. Okay, so let's see what we got there so far. So we got a G chord. I'm doing this G bass, I'm muting the A, and I'm going for these D and G strings. Occasionally you can hit the B string with that too. So what we're doing is we're hitting that chord, we want to mute the little E string. So like what I do is I let the bottom of this finger down here touch that little string as I'm playing this chord. Now that's part of a C chord. So we got the 5 and the 5 on the D and the G, and we're going. And you can do that with one finger if you want. So we're going down to the 3s down here. So it's like C and B flat chords going back to G. So it's like. So let's take a look at that. He'll do some whammy bar stuff there too a lot of times on that second one of these set of 4. So we're going to have this be the third one. So I hit those 5s, and then I'm moving the 3s into the 4s into the 5s here. And we're going to have this new chord. We're going to be using the part of the C chord, but we're going to have this D note here on the G string. That kind of thing. So we got. So it's going to go 3 of these. Now we have this new part. We got an E flat power chord, 6th fret of the A string, 6, 8, 8 here. Now sometimes he slides it and sometimes he doesn't. So I was listening to the, I think, '07 live version when they got back together. That was the only time they ever played this live. And he did a lot of things different from the album. So you might listen to both and pick and choose which things you like the best. So we got. So that was the same string, 1, 3, 3 down here, B flat, to the C power chord, back to a G power chord. So we got. And we're back to this. And this part very much goes with the vocal, so definitely be listening to the vocal and play along with the album on this. Third time. So here's where it gets really wild. So here we move to the chord of A, this power chord, and we're going to have this new riff. So first we hit the chord, and then we're going to the D string, 5, 6, 7, down to this little chord, 2nd and 3rd strings on the 5, and then back to that A bass note there, 7th fret of the D string, and then we have these 7s on the 2nd and 3rd string down to the 5s. And I noticed on the live one, he was hitting the open power chord and then popping back up here. So we got. So it ends up doing 3 of those in a row there. And then you got a G chord on that upbeat, you hold it for a second, and then we got this new riff. Okay, so we'll go over that more in a second. So let's check out that transition from the E flat and those chords into this new A thing one more time. So we'll do this thing twice, 3, 4. So it goes so quick right there from that thing. So we got this will be the last one again. And see, that's an upbeat. So when you hit that 1, 2, 3, it's on an upbeat before the 1, so you still count like a full 1, 2, 3, 4 measure. So we got 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what we have here is starting on the D string, 3 open 1, 2 open 1, open 1. and then C over here on the 5th string to the open 1 again. So, and then we get into a, so that's a pull off, 1 to open on the A string, and then 3 and 1 on the big string. So it's, so 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, 3 at the end. So we got. So on the 4th one of this riff here, we're going to go into that same type of thing, but on G now instead of A. So it's going to end with. And you can't hit this raised 9 kind of a chord here. So that would be like a power chord up here, 3, 5, 5, and then muting the G, but hitting these 2 6s down here on the bottom. Gives you that raised 9 chord. So it does the triple one there at the end of that 4th one. So let's try that triple again. So we keep doing it. Then we go up to A and we can hit the same raised 9. So let's come back from that last one. We're going to do that triple thing at the end. Last one. And so I'm hybrid picking that. So Jimmy Page did that a lot. I'm using the fingers there so I can do it faster instead of having to like pick everything. See how fast that bass note's moving? Now in that live version, one thing I noticed is Page didn't finger pick that. He was like, so he just looked at them as like chords and strummed through. Okay, so now we're going to be getting into the solo. So we're coming out of the last riff of this thing. Guitar solo. We're on the G for a while. Yes, they do 6 times right there. So once the guitar solo gets going and you get to that end of the 4th one where you normally do 3 of those riffs in a row, 6 of those riffs in a row and back into G. And then the next time through, it's only going to be the 3 and we're going to be back to the top of the song. So let's take from the beginning of this solo here. We're going to have this G raised 9 and we're going to have that riff. And the 4th one, we're going to do 6 of those things in a row. That type of thing. 2, 3, and. So this comes in on an upbeat too, I believe. So it's like. Here we go. Back to the intro. All right, so we're on this last verse. We're going to be heading towards the end of the song. I'll go ahead into the verse. Now this last verse, we have this thing, which is like an added overdubbed guitar. So this one's going to the G chord, the D and G strings, 12th fret. And we're going to bounce in on this 14th fret of the D string. And then you're back to C. G. Then we're going to have that final E flat kind of bridge. It's normally twice, but it's 4 times. And that last G is like on an upbeat. Okay, so we got these basic riffs. We got... That's your first one. And like I say, he'll do some whammy bar dive bombs with the chords on some of these. So an example of that would be this. I'll do it on a second one. That's where he usually does it, on the second one. That kind of thing. So as we go into the verse, we're going from the 3s, 4s to 5s, and we got that 7th fret of the G string. So we got... There we go. Okay, so that's how that part goes. And then we got our E flat to F power chord, B flat to C to G. So we got... And then, of course, it goes back through all those parts again. Then the second time we go through this bridge, we're going to go into that A with that new riff. So we got... Like I said, the main thing with those riffs is that on the end of the 4th one, you're going to have 2, 3, 4. And that would be the chordal way of doing that. And you could finger pick it, hybrid pick it. Okay, so those are some of the main parts. And then later on, we're going to get into... We go to G with that riff. And this one that has the raised 9. Back to G. Now this time we're going to go. So same thing, but up into A, and then we're going to finish with the 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we got that riff. And then the solo, like I said, we got this G riff. But the weird thing about it is when you get to the end of the 4th one in this guitar solo, we do that thing 6 times in a row.